Hey everybody, Dr. Paul here, hanging out with Dr. Tabor Smith all the way down in Texas. I am super excited to have you back to ChiroFest this year, man. I know that everybody really dug your lunch and learn last year, and I'm excited because there's more and more synergy or energy, people talking about it more. So I think it's going to even, it's going to sell out even faster. But just give us a little bit of what you're passionate about, why you're doing this, what people are going to be able to take home on Monday after hearing you at lunch.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for giving me the opportunity to share it. I feel like right now, this time in chiropractic, there just isn't a more relevant time to share this message of spinal hygiene with our patients, with our communities. What I'm going to be sharing, the topic or title of my presentation is Spinal Degeneration, the Silent Epidemic. Right now, we have people don't even realize the numbers out there. Unless you look closely at some of the research, spinal degeneration is more prevalent today than it's ever been before in the history of the human race. And right now, if we don't do something about it, spines will decay. We know the power and the importance of a healthy spine and nervous system. Health will continue to decay like crazy. And I think chiropractors are in a position right now to bring this message to the masses. Now, if you don't mind me sharing just a little bit of history here, this particular scenario has been seen before in history. If you go back to the early 1900s, tooth decay was rampant because of industrialization. The processed foods began to come into our society, and tooth decay just went crazy. If you were a dentist in the early 1900s, all you did was pull teeth. That was your practice, right? People in their 20s, they were just having most of their teeth pulled, and dentists were making a lot of money doing this. But it was also right in that era where they discovered the cause of tooth decay. And they discovered that bacteria builds up in the teeth, that it processes sugar, and then that processed sugar turns into a byproduct, or it's an acid byproduct that bacteria secretes, and that eats and decays the tooth. So the father of dental hygiene, Dr. Alfred Fones, he actually said, we got to do something to prevent tooth decay. And so he went on this mission, this movement to share lifetime dental health, basically, or dental hygiene. Speaking of spinal hygiene, this is the reason why we need to educate the world about spinal hygiene, because there was a study that was just released out of Scotland that showed 9-year-olds have the beginnings of spinal degeneration now because of sedentary lifestyles. They're not able to, 9-year-olds spine starting to degenerate already because of sedentary lifestyle, video games, cell phones, all of these sedentary lifestyle factors that are increasing spinal degeneration. Well, in the early 1900s, when they first started the dental hygiene movement, it was resisted by dentists. And people don't realize this, but dentists said, we're making so much money pulling teeth right now. Why would you mess that up, right? By teaching people. There were other dentists that actually didn't believe you could prevent tooth decay. Then there was another group of dentists that said, you know what? People just won't spend the time to brush their teeth. They won't spend the time and the money necessary on dental hygiene factors. And so there were a lot of dentists, even in their own profession, against sharing this message of dental health. But thank goodness they prevailed, because right now in our society, more people live their full life with the teeth they were born with. So that particular example shows that there is something that we can do to prevent decay. And it's like that in any area of the body. If we don't take care of it,
100%.
And I feel like, here's a great analogy. Dentistry went from being something that when they were pulling teeth, they really weren't that popular. Now they're the second largest healthcare profession in the world, and the number one most preventable healthcare profession in the world, right? So chiropractic, we came around about the same time as dentistry back in that early 1900s, but we went the way of educating about subluxation, which I think we definitely should to our patients. But we say, well, subluxation is a hard concept. People don't understand it. It's a word that, that is kind of a weird word, a big word. Well, I tell people cavity is the same exact, it's the same exact hard, it's hard to understand what a cavity is. It's a weird word, right? 100%. But dentistry first educated what's simple. Just maintain your teeth, brush your teeth on a daily basis, implement dental hygiene in your daily care. That awareness of dental health was what grew the understanding of what a cavity was, and that I needed to go to the dentist to get my cavities corrected. And I feel like if chiropractors could embrace this patient education that we're trying to help them with, people will understand that we need to take care of our spine first. Then they'll move into understanding that subluxations prevent the issue or the problem, and that chiropractors are the only person who can correct subluxation. I feel like that's a step up. We're missing that first step, that people should at least do something on a daily basis to keep their spine and nervous system healthy.
And and you're so right, man. I mean, the dental model has done an amazing job, and I feel that's where we haven't united as a profession to really help people understand that one clear message. I mean, I think every chiropractor, no matter philosophical belief, understands that model, but they're not teaching it, right? So I think That's awesome. You're going to come fire these folks up. Uh-oh, you there, bud?
Yeah.
Fire these folks up and teach them how to, transition from the pulling the tooth to fixing the tooth to now supporting the tooth. And that's really the same thing with the spine, right? We don't want to do surgery. We want to support the spine where it's at, keep it healthy and responding and adapting the way it's supposed to be. So that's phenomenal. So I'm super excited to have you share that.
Right. And in the history of chiropractic, we've battled a lot about sharing, so we all think differently, right? We if you're not this technique, you're doing it wrong. If you're not teaching this, you're teaching it wrong. And so I feel like with spinal hygiene, this is something that can unite us all. We created a model of first spinal health and that we can all use. So there are 3 basic concepts of the spine. So number 1, the spine should be in a certain alignment. You can't deny that, right?
Yep.
You can say that there's a specific range, but you know that scoliosis is not a normal finding, right? So since the times of Leonardo da Vinci, since he studied the spine, he drew the spine straight from the front, he drew curves from the side. We know that's a normal alignment. We can all agree. The second principle of spinal hygiene is that the spine should move through a full range of motion. We all know this. You can ask any physical therapist, medical doctor, even a layperson. You can tell that the spine should move through 3 planes of motion, balanced symmetrically. So that's all we're saying. Then the third area is that muscles around the spine should be strong or fit and balanced. And that's it. That's what builds a healthy spine. I mean, there may be other factors and there may be other, components of the vertebral subluxation complex, but if people understood that basic information, that the spine should be in a certain alignment, that it should move through a full range of motion, that the muscles around it should be fit and balanced, and I need to do something every day to make sure that my spine stays in as good of health in those 3 areas as possible. And then when I lose those 3 areas, I can go to my chiropractor and say, this is what's going on, and we find subluxation, we can correct that, and then give them education to maintain it again. Then we can really begin to spread and grow. And I think that's why, if you look at the statistics for dentistry, 98% of people in the United States brush their teeth, or at least say they brush their teeth. That's what the poll says, 98%. What that leads to is a little bit over 50% of the population utilizing a dentist regularly. So, but that's a huge number, 150 million people. Yeah. So not everybody's going to utilize chiropractic.
Versus our, 5, 6%, 10% of the population?
Yeah, well, and look at the correlation. I would say less than 1% of people do any kind of spinal hygiene active. And so in spinal hygiene, we teach that you don't have to just do one specific exercise, that exercise science tells us that any type of movement and an exercise is good for the spine, but there may be certain exercises that are even better, right? Yep. That are more efficient, like brushing your teeth. Dentists came together and said, what's the most simple, easiest, takes the least amount of time somebody could do on a daily basis that most people would do? Well, let's at least let them brush their teeth. If they want to do extra things like floss and water pick, and what's the least common denominator somebody could do on a daily basis just to keep them aware of their spinal health? And we go into that as well.
That's awesome. So that's a huge message you're going to be delivering for our people, and I super appreciate it. Hey, so again, everybody, so September 14th, 15th, Doc is doing his Lunch and Learn on the 14th, I believe, right? Yep. Yep, right, the 14th. And there's a limited amount of seats, so those things will sell out super fast. So you got to make sure that you jump on the site and get your ticket for Lunch and Learn so Dr. Tabor can teach you how to teach your patients spinal hygiene so they can not only correct the problem, but more importantly, prevent the problem and spread the chiropractic message of just this exact same way dentistry is, right? So that's amazing stuff.
Yep,
cool, brother.
Absolutely.
it was fun with your kids jumping on there, voice jumping on there. That's
Sorry
awesome.
about the 3-year-old invasion.
No, man, that's great. That's good. It's real. So that's the way.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, again, I appreciate your time. Looking forward to hearing you at lunch at ChiroFest September 14, 15. Make today better than yesterday, bud.
Thanks, brother. Talk to you soon.